Hi, my name's Matt Bisogno, and for the past 8 years I've made a living from horse racing and betting online. If, like me, you're tired of all the hype and spin and, frankly, bulldust that seems to accompany every new wonder system or service that hits the web, then hear me out, because I think you'll find this refreshing. In the next few moments I'm going to show you a brand new approach to finding serious value bets, an approach which is easy to operate and which has been specifically designed to appeal to horse racing fans of any level of experience or available time to study. But first, if you're not getting what you want from your betting, then let me say this: it's not your fault. Now, I know you've probably heard or read that a million times before, but seriously, it's not your fault. Here's why. Firstly, and most obviously, winning at betting is hard. At least it used to be. And secondly, horse racing bettors have been conditioned into looking at the wrong information. That's because most of us have one or both of two problems. Number one, not enough time. Number two, not enough information. If you don't have enough time, you likely look for ways to shortcut the form study process. Maybe you look for the trainer or the jockey. Perhaps you check for course and distance winners, or, most commonly of all, maybe you scout the recent form string to the left of a horse's name. Even if you have more time available to study, the available data just isn't there. The trade paper has just the last 3 runs for each horse. I mean, I ask you, what use is that if a runner has had 6 races this season and 30 or more in its career? And how will you know if any material change in the race conditions today can bring about a return to form, or, for a recent winner, might be a reason to look elsewhere? You won't. The good news is that the information you have at your disposal is the same partial fill-in-the-blanks data that almost every other punter has too. So why is that good news? Because if you can find a way to be better informed without having to spend hours trawling through databases or reading reams of editorial, which is opinion-based and therefore of little use anyway, then you stand a very good chance of beating the knowledge-starved lemmings who are all plunging on the same obvious horses. Don't get me wrong, those obvious horses do win a fair amount of the time. After all, the favourite wins around a third of all races. But backing favourites blindly will always return less money than is invested. That's the fundamental principle of the betting markets. Happily, 2/3 of races are not won by the favourite. Now, what I'm about to show you is not about whether a horse is favourite or not. Rather, it is about whether a horse is value or not. Put another way, I'm going to show you a way to establish in no time flat whether a horse's true chance of winning is greater than the available odds. What I'm going to show you is a radical new way to look at form, an approach that has long been adopted in other forecasting disciplines like stock market investing, currency trading, weather forecasting, and even the calculation of insurance premiums. And the best news is that anyone can understand this within literally minutes of first seeing it. This whole package came about after a discussion with some fellow professional bettors who were also deeply frustrated at the labour-intensive and painstaking rigmarole involved in getting the relevant information from a horse's past history. I personally used to use 4 different data services at a cost of over £200 a month to do a job that now takes less than 2 minutes per race. It used to take over half an hour per race. The problem is that most people that have created racing information sites are not actually punters. They don't think like punters. They think like coders, techies, IT specialists. I, and the other pro punters who helped me design this, are punters. And we are winning punters at that. We won because we have more information and better information than most other punters. And we won because we have more time to dedicate to the challenge. But now we have even more information still, and it's laid out in a much less time-consuming way. We can narrow a 7-race meeting down to 2 or 3 races in literally 60 seconds, and we can then spend anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes finding a confident value wager. A wager that most punters won't look at because they don't have the information about a horse's entire form history. Its going, class, field size, handicap rating, distance preferences that we have. And if they do have it, it takes them hours to correlate it all. Allow me to introduce you to Geegeez Gold, a whole new way to look at horse racing and betting. Geegeez Gold is a comprehensive package that covers a lot of areas of form study and also includes 2 proven profitable tipping services to its members. Let's start with those. If you're new to racing, or you have no time to dip into the past performances of the horses, then our flagship one-a-day tipping service, Stat of the Day, is for you. Oh, and even if you do have time to study, it's still well worth checking in on. Stat of the Day, as the name suggests, picks out one nugget of data per day and frames a bet around it. It might be a trainer stat, or a jockey, or a horse or stallion snippet. Whatever it is, it's always well researched, and the proof of the pudding, as they say, is in the profits. Anyway, here's the bottom line. 2012 was our first full year with Stat of the Day, and it netted a whopping 118.96 points. That's from a single point bet on a single horse each day. Let's say you bet £20 per horse, which is entirely reasonable for such a selective service. That would be £2,379.20 in tax-free profit. And those aren't "here's what you would have won" backfitted nonsense numbers. They're real-time, live service, punters getting on numbers. 2013 was much tougher, as it was for all tipping services that year, but we still cleared a profit of £472.40 to £20 level stakes. And this year might be our best year yet. So far, as at the end of July, Stat of the Day is already up 71.44 points, or £1,428.80 to £20 level stakes. Remember, that's from a single bet a day, level stakes, Monday to Saturday. We have a rest on Sundays. In total then, over just about 2.5 years, we, and more importantly our members, have amassed profits of £4,280.40p to just £20 stakes, and it's taken us less than 5 minutes a day. As well as Stat of the Day, we have a second daily tipping service called Double Dutch. This is a novel bet which takes advantage of the best odds guaranteed concessions most top bookies offer. Without going into the fine details here, suffice it to say that since we introduced it less than a year ago, Double Dutch has chipped in with 73.52 points profit of its own. To save you getting the calculator out, that's £1,470 to £20 level stakes. In total then, Geegeez Gold subscribers have netted profits of £5,750.80 in the past 2.5 years in about 6 minutes a day. Again, these are not made up numbers or backfitted system-based figures. These are the real-world results of a live service since the start of 2012. A service which is on course to record its best profit figures yet in 2014. But that's just the tip of the iceberg with Geegeez Gold. Even if you're really pushed for time, on the days when you have a spare 5 minutes, you really should take a look at the Instant Expert. Instant Expert is a snazzy title for a tool that models the entire form history of every runner in a race and presents that information in a single view that is super easy to understand. Here's an example. In that thin strip of letters, numbers and colours, we can see everything from the 8 runners' past history that is relevant to today's race, with all of the confusing, irrelevant form lines stripped out. Even if I did nothing to explain it to you, you'd figure out that green was good, amber was alright and red was, well, not so good. You may not have known that grey means there was no relevant info, but you do now. In this example, it doesn't take Einstein to work out that Ballybough was the horse best suited to conditions. And look, he was the favourite as well. That was my point earlier. In this case, we could easily argue that, with so much in his favour, Ballybough was actually a value bet despite being the market leader. In other words, his chance of winning looked better than around 2-1, based on his runs in similar races previously. And that, in a nutshell, is the Instant Expert. Of course, there's more information there if you want it, like the actual number of runs and wins, or places if you choose to display them, and a comparison with the horse's last winning official rating. But the key is that in literally a few minutes, you can look at the Instant Expert for every single race, even on a busy Saturday. That's why we call it the Instant Expert. For those of you with more time and who like to look at a wider set of circumstances, we've got you covered too. Our full form filters enable you to cut through the fluff in a horse's or trainer's or jockey's form and focus only on the elements of interest to you. You can sort by race code, flat or weather, hurdle or chase, by going, distance, course, class or jockey, and any combination of those, by recent runs or runs after a layoff, and by wins placed or unplaced efforts. We've even included a today option which filters by going, class and distance. And, as you can see from the image, this is not just useful for backers but also for layers. The Strig, for instance, was running in a 6 furlong turf handicap recently, and we could easily see that in 17 previous runs over 6 furlongs on turf, he'd not even made the frame. The Strig, unsurprisingly, finished down the field. He was 7th of 12, despite being a 15-2 shot all morning. His place price was just 2.72 to lay at Betfair SP. This is deeply incisive knowledge that you can't find anywhere else, and importantly, it's laid out in a very easy to understand and intuitive manner. But Gold has still more depth for serious players, and we include full pace analyses for all UK races. Understanding how a race is likely to be run is one of the best ways we punters can get ahead of the game. Quite simply, this information is not available anywhere in the mainstream media, nor in the specialist trade press, and that means we have an edge. They say knowledge is power, and knowing when a race will be fast run, or a tactical affair, knowing which side of the draw has the speed in big field sprints, or knowing which horses might control things on the front, is a huge edge. In fact, we have members who bet almost exclusively on this information alone. Such is the power of a lone pace angle. And don't worry if this is all new to you. After all, like I say, it's not in the traditional press. We've got lots of video tutorials and help on this and every other aspect of Gold. But there's still more, much more. Gold has a suite of winner finding reports which cover trainer form, jockey form and trainer jockey form in combination. You can search on recent form, the last 14 or 30 days, or on course form from the past year or since 2009. And all report data is sortable by runs, wins, places, and profit, either win or each way. We also have a full daily rundown of the past performances of all horses racing at a track at which they've previously competed. That one's called Horses for Courses, or H4C for short. Our hot form report outlines those form lines that are working out best, or worst if you like to lay horses to lose, and as with the others, it's highly configurable to your tastes. Plus, we have 2 profiling reports called the Shortlist and Best Of, which highlight the pick of the day's instant expert grids, and a head-to-head report as well that showcases the results of previous matchups between horses reopposing today. Now, before you start thinking, gosh, that's a lot of information, how am I supposed to use all that? Don't panic. The reality is that nobody uses all of the features every day. That's not the idea. The key is to find the parts that work for you and that fit in with the level of experience and available time you have, and to major on those. As and when you've got a bit of extra spare time, play around with some of the other parts and see how they work out for you. No problem. There are still more components to Geegeez Gold that I haven't touched on, like the Gold Tracker, which tracks horses, trainers and jockeys from 5-day declaration stage onwards, and the Registered Users Only Prize Tipping League, and, of course, the most state-of-the-art race cards in Britain today. These cards are absolutely packed with winner-getting info, from horse, trainer and jockey form, to breeding information, to head-to-head data, and now incorporating a form strength barometer called Then What right into the form lines. This can be especially useful when looking at maidens or races where there is little form to go on. Geegeez Gold is a power-packed collection of profit-pulling tips and tools, and it's no exaggeration to say it has changed the way hundreds of Gold subscribers bet for the better. We get testimonials from happy subscribers almost every day. Here are just a few of the scores we have on file, starting with some comments on the Geegeez blog. Proctor wrote in to say, thanks to the new cards, just had £201 forecast in the 8 o'clock at Yarmouth. Great, thanks. And Mike Monroe chipped in, personally, being a subscription member, you should stop giving this great advice for free. Worth every penny of the very low subscription fees. The cards are great and getting better. They've improved my place pot win rate and even picked up 10k for a jackpot a few weeks back. Blue Cypress said, would be lost without your excellent interactive cards, and now with more improvements even better. The first port of call for my racing, and glad you've improved the results service. There's no need to switch to the Sporting Life now. Worth every hard-earned dollar just for the picks alone, never mind the race cards. Keep it up, mate. Excellent. Big Vern 63 chimed, great article, Matt, and see the shortlist picked out the winner of the first race at Galway, McKinley. Lucky enough to double up with expensive taste in the 7:15 for 131 to 1 double. Happy days, and should be playing with the bookies money for the rest of the week. I will never tire of saying this, but thanks again for simply the best punters website in existence. Nothing comes near, in my humble opinion. And here are a couple of emails I've received in the past few weeks. Chris wrote, hi Matt, just thought I'd update you on my 10-day trial. I've probably paid for every tipster going, so when I saw your email I was sceptical. In fact, I ignored it at first. However, after yet another disastrous tipster service, I was about to give up. I decided to give your service a try. I'm glad I did. At first I wasn't able to navigate around the cards and all the information. However, I worked it out, and since Saturday I've had an 8 to 1 winner that went into 7 to 2. I had a winner yesterday, and today I hit the jackpot with 3 winners. Moreover, these are not the typical tipster odds-on favourites. They are night before 13 to 2 shots going into 7 to 4 at SP. Today I had Piper's Note at 13 to 2, Jahara at 7 to 2, and the stat of the day, Ta Chi, at 4 to 1. I covered them all going each way, but even so, at £10 a point, I am up £170 on the day. I am well chuffed, mate. I know it's early days and things can go wrong, but so far I am really encouraged. And how about Gary, who won the tipping league for July and then confessed to me that it was his gold subscription that was responsible. He wrote, cheers Matt, I've subscribed to many racing services in the past, including back in the day Timeform by Post, but none of them measure up to the quality Geegeez offers its readers and subscribers. The Geegeez race cards are a delight to use and give out more information than you can shake a stick at. Needless to say, those tips given out by me in July came straight from your race cards with only the minimum of tweaking. Brilliant piece of kit that goes hand in hand with your superb websites and content. Thanks again, Matt. It's much appreciated. And how about this one quickly from one subscriber who has enjoyed one-way traffic with his bookmaker on the financial front since signing up to Gold. Hi Matt, keep up the good work because you're definitely doing something right. Since being a Gold member on the 9th of April, I have never deposited money in my betting account, only drawn out. That was from Brian, 4 months after he last deposited money in his betting account. That's fantastic. And a quick line on Stat of the Day as well, the flagship Gold tipping service that gets comments like these almost every day. You are getting rather good at this, Chris. Only managed 9 to 4, but still much better than SP. For some reason, I only started following consistently in the past few weeks, but I'm already 30 points or so up. Keep up the good work. So, the big question. How much would you expect to pay for a comprehensive package such as this? Done for you tips with a massive proven profit. The most easily accessible cutting-edge form tool in Britain, Instant Expert. Pace analysis, form filtering, advanced reporting and more. Like I say, I used to spend more than £200 a month for tools that did a similar job but took me hours to assimilate the various data. Let's take a look at some of these. The Racing Post's website costs £260 for an annual membership and has no pace analysis, no user-defined race analysis, no form filters, no head-to-head data, and only the most basic of trainer-jockey information. Proform race guides have no proven tipping feature, no pace analysis, no form filters, no jockey information, and no head-to-head data, and yet they will set you back a hefty £650 a year. Computer Timeform has no proven tipping feature, no form filters, and no head-to-head data, but that still comes in at an eye-watering £1,230 a year. So, put in that context, I'd say a yearly subscription of £400 would be excellent value for money. After all, that's barely £1 a day. But the point about Geegeez Gold is that I don't want it to be an expense to you at all. Hundreds of punters are making money from Gold, and you can join them. starting with a 10-day, completely free, totally unlimited trial. Put gold to work for you. Check out the stat of the day and double Dutch tips. Use the brilliant race cards. Experiment with Instant Expert, the full form filters, and our unique pace analysis tools. Root around the reports. Add some horses or trainers or jockeys to your tracker and make some money. If you find it helps you and you can see how readily you'll recoup your investment, then I have 3 subscription options once your trial concludes. An annual subscription won't cost anything like the £1,230 nor even £400. Instead, you can put Geegeez Gold to work for you for a full year for £197 plus VAT. That's about a third of what I could charge, and clearly outstanding value at just 54p a day. And if you're prepared to take your commitment a stage further, then for a very limited time only, you can sign up for a lifetime subscription for just £297 plus VAT. That's less than half the cost of an annual subscription to Proform Race Guides, and less than a quarter of the cost of Computer Timeform, for lifetime access to a set of tools that already offer comprehensively more and are still growing. Naturally, you'll get all future upgrades as part of your existing subscription, and you'll never have to pay a penny more. Now, this is a limited time offer, and I'm only offering 40 lifetime subscriptions. I expect those to go within the next 7 days, maybe less. So if you know you want this, choose the lifetime option below. You'll still have your 10 days free trial to decide whether it's right for you. If not, no problem, just cancel your sub and we'll be all done. Of course, you'll still be very welcome to stick around for the free components at Geegeez. If the link to the lifetime offer has already gone, then please accept my apologies. It is a limited offer, and that is not a stupid marketing gimmick or tactic. Thanks a lot for watching this presentation, and I look forward to welcoming you for your free trial. Just click the link below to get started today.